Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mr. Marlowe's 6th grade math class. Today we're going to be working on Lesson 10, which is writing and evaluating expressions using addition and subtraction. So my targets for this lesson are I can use variables to write expressions involving addition and subtraction from real-world problems. My second target is I can evaluate these expressions when given the value of the variable. So if we're just looking at that first target, I can use variables to write expressions involving addition and subtraction from real-world problems. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be writing mathematical expressions that we can use to model situations in our everyday life. These are going to include variables and numbers, okay? So the second part is if I'm given a value for the variable, right, I can evaluate the expression. I can figure out the expression's value. So take a moment, pause the video, copy down example number 1 here, okay? And I'm assuming that you've had a chance to copy this down. So number 1 says, Tim and Caesar are both on a baseball team. Caesar has hit 3 more home runs than Tim has hit this season. And part A says, give a description of the scenario above with units involved. All right, so first thing, if I'm going to write a mathematical expression, I have to decide what my variables are going to be. So why don't we use T for Tim? Well, I should probably make that capital, huh? T for Tim and C for Caesar. Okay. Now, if I'm going to write a description of this, right, I need to figure out a way that I can describe this using math. And if Tim and Caesar are both on a baseball team and Caesar has hit 3 more home runs than Tim, well, I want to describe the amount of home runs that each of them has hit. Well, I can say that the amount of home runs that Caesar has hit, because C stands for Caesar, is equal to the amount of home runs that Tim has hit plus 3. So Tim and Caesar are both on the baseball team. Caesar has hit 3 more home runs than Tim. Okay? So I'm going to let T be the number of home runs Tim has hit. And B says, write an expression describing the scenario. Well, I've already did that. I did that in A, okay? Again, if you don't understand this, C stands for Caesar, T stands for Tim, and I want to write an expression describing this scenario. I want to write a mathematical expression describing this scenario. So I could say the amount of home runs that Caesar has hit is equal to the amount of home runs that Tim has hit plus 3. Now, C says, evaluate the expression if Tim has hit 10 home runs. So what it's asking is, well, what is that asking? So if it wants us to evaluate the expression if Tim has hit 10 home runs, well, we know T is our placeholder for Tim. T is our variable that represents Tim, right? So just like in previous lessons, we're going to plug in the amount of home runs that Tim has hit. So we're going to plug in 10 for t. Now if I plug in 10 for t, I'm going to get c equals 10 plus 3. Notice all I did is I took this 10, it's the amount of home runs that Tim has hit, and I'm plugging it in for t. So c equals 10 plus 3. And c, 10 plus 3 is 13. So what does that tell us? It tells us that Caesar has hit 13 home runs. Let's take a look at another example. Take a minute, pause the video, write this down. Okay. All right, I'm assuming you've written this down. Maybe if you were feeling ambitious, you've even given us one to go on your own. It says, Bill has read 4 fewer books than Brenda this school year. So give a description with units of the scenario above. Okay? And my description with units, right, would be the amount of books. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write B. I'm going to write BR for Brenda. Just realized both of their names start with a B. And a B for Bill. Okay. So give a description with units, right? So the amount of Brenda's. So Bill has read 4 fewer books than Brenda this season. So how we're going to do this is we're looking for what we want to solve for is the amount of books that Bill has read. And the amount of books that Bill has read is equal to the amount of books that Brenda has read minus 4. Right? So now whatever number of books I plug in here for Brenda, hopefully it's a number greater than 4, will give me the amount of books that Bill has read. Okay? So I'm going to say, let BR represent the amount of books Brenda, I gotta squeeze it in here, sorry, read. Okay? And up here, I'm just going to say, let B equal the amount of books Bill has read. So again, part B, I keep on jumping the gun. Write an expression describing the scenario. Okay? Well, there's my expression that describes the scenario, right? The amount of books that Bill has read is equal to the amount of books that Brenda has read minus 4. So, part C says, evaluate the expression if Brenda has read 12 books this school year. Okay, well we know the amount of books Brenda has read is equal to 12. So everywhere I see a BR, I can plug in a what? I can plug in a 12. And if I plug in that 12, it'll tell me the amount of books that Bill has read. So we're just going to use our expression up here. I suggest maybe we copy it down again. And now again, like I said, everywhere I see a BR, I'm going to put in a 12. So there's my BR. So B, Bill, equals 12 minus 4. So B is equal to 8. So I can write Bill has read, Bill has read 8 books. This school year. All right, so on your problem set, that's it for the dogs. On your problem set looks like this, okay? And what we're doing for the first 2 examples on the problem set is we're going to read the variable in the table and improve the description that's given, okay? So one thing that we really need to concern ourselves with in all of our math classes and in all of our problem sets is the importance of being specific in naming variables. So when naming variables and expressions, it's important to be very clear about what they represent, which is why if we go back to these examples, I wrote BR equals Brenda, B equals Bill somewhere on my page. So if somebody else were reading your work, they would know, oh, this is BR for Brenda, that's B for Bill, or whatever. Okay? So, like I said, the units of measure must be included if something is being measured. So exercise 1, read the variable in the table and improve the description given, making it more specific. So we have a column for variable, a column for the incomplete description, and a column for the description with units. Now, in a lot of these, what you're going to do is you're going to kind of make up your own unit, okay? So if we're talking with speed, we could say meters per second or miles per hour, right? So Joshua's speed, J, that's the variable. Variable there is Joshua's speed, which is represented by J. The incomplete description is let J represent Joshua's speed, okay? That's incomplete because we want those units. So we can say let J represent Joshua's speed